Welcome to Fallout 4, a game I played quite a lot and I really enjoy. And this time I'm going to be exploring this world with Madeleine here, based on my very own lady. Madeleine lives here in 2077 with her husband Nate in domestic bliss in a kind of future imagined in 1955. And there's a knock at the door and it's a man.
Good morning, Vault-Tec calling. I'm here today to tell you that because of your family service to our country, you have been pre-selected for entrance into the local vault. Vault 111.
The apocalypse? Well, hell, sign me up.
At which point we set Madeleine's vital statistics. All of them start at 1 and you get 21 points to distribute. Strength, endurance and luck are down at 3. I think that's kind of a reflection. Perception is at 4. Madeleine is quite eagle-eyed. She always spots a good opportunity. Charisma, intelligence and agility are at 5. I do this knowing I'll get some boosts to those points quite early on. And here's Sean, our son, and quite a focal point for the main story of the game. We also live with Codsworth, who's like a robot butler stroke housemaid. Nate used to be in the army and I've got a law degree.
That's my boy, on his best behavior, just like his dad. Well, most of the time anyway. Listen, after breakfast, I was thinking we could head to the park for a bit. Weather should hold up.
Oh, right. The park. With you. Because I want to get pregnant again.
Feisty girl, our Madeleine. Very wicked sense of humour. That's Codsworth, in fact, raising the alarm. And off we go. Luckily, the man called round to book us into the vault just before the bomb started dropping. And ironically, he's not allowed in because he didn't think to put his name on the list as he heard the sirens going off. So he's not allowed in.
Need to get in. We're on the list.
But we are.
Infant, adult male, adult female. Okay, go ahead.
Simple as that. Anyway, silly vault man.
Come on!
What's gonna happen to all those people
And off we
We're
go.
doing everything we can. Now keep moving.
Leaving a lot of our neighbours behind, but who cares? Obviously, playing with the female, the husband has the role of carrying the baby,
Step on the platform.
which I don't know many mums that would let dad carry the baby into this kind of situation. I'm sure they'd be quite clingy, in a nice way. But anyway, here we are. We're on the deck.
Almost there.
Almost there.
Okay.
He's fine. We're gonna be okay.
At least we checked on the baby.
I love you.
And there we go. We're looking at a nuclear explosion and our eyeballs haven't caught fire. It looks quite pretty though. And we just catch the front of a nuclear blast. But we're okay. We're down the hole. We're into the vault. Vault 111. And down in the vault, everyone is very efficient and friendly. We're issued a lovely suit.
Just follow the doctor here. He'll show you where to go.
Our neighbours fuss over their luggage, as I'm sure some neighbours may in any kind of emergency.
It's down the hall.
Or they'll just run to the shop and buy all the toilet roll. We'll follow the doctor, we'll do as we're told. There are many vaults in the universe. I'll talk a lot more about the game and the background to it and the community and all of the things that go with this game as we play along. I won't get too hung up on trying to tell you everything up front. It's a bit like Eve making videos for this game. It's deciding what not to say is the hardest bit. Or you can just witter on forever. But we're going to follow this man, follow our instructions. It's all very nice in here. We're being brought in here to be decontaminated. One of our neighbours is very pleased at the styling of her jumpsuit, which is cool.
Just step in here and put your vault suit on.
We shall be compliant and unquestioning. It looks a bit manky in here, to be fair. Look at that. It looks like something you find in the shed that got a bit damp, but we'll be fine.
The pod will decontaminate and depressurize you before we head deeper in the vault. Just relax.
Time for a whole new life.
Resident secure. Occupant vitals normal. Procedure complete. In 5.
But we've been duped and we're being frozen. Deep, deep frozen. No one told me I was signing up for that, but that is Vault-Tec. But during our freezing, we are defrosted. Mysteriously. and disorientated. We wonder what's going on, but somebody turns up, grabs the baby, kills the husband, says that, and legs it. And unfortunately, we get refrozen almost instantly. Now, after an unknown period of time, we thaw out again. With a very bad cold. Must have been that mould. I did warn them. And we break out into the vault. But no one else is getting out of their pod. We have a little look around.
There has to be a release. Come on, come on, come on.
But unfortunately,
God.
Nate really is dead. We grab the wedding ring. That'll be useful when we meet a trader. And we're off. We can have a little look around. There's not much to see here. Everyone appears to be dead. We can check a terminal here which will confirm that we were manually defrosted. This one's unlocked, many are not. There are terminals throughout the world, and a large amount of the lore and backstory will come from looking at them and reading through stuff. And off we go. Open the door on our adventure into what is basically a tutorial walkthrough of the vault on our way out, where we learn how to loot, we learn how to whack things, grab the meat. We are playing on survival mode. I'll talk about more of that later, but food is important.
What the hell?
And so are empty bottles, because they will be turned into bottles of water when appropriate, and they are going to be important for keeping us hydrated and also for healing. So grab everything you can. We're going to kill a few more of those nasty bugs. Grab their meat. In real life, Madeleine is actually a vegetarian, but we'll have to talk about that later. We'll practice swipe of the baton. We found a water fountain here, which is a supply of pure water, so we can drink straight from it. We won't take any radiation. It'll heal us and it will hydrate us. And I do actually think while we're here to fill a bottle, one of those empty beer bottles is now a purified water. Some stim packs, they're used in survival mode for dealing with being crippled rather than your main healing item. Slight difference from the other modes of the game. And we're just going to loot our way through here, see what we can find. And then we're taken out here where there's a whole bunch of those rad roaches. And we're introduced to VATS, which is like a bullet time dilation kind of a mode. Based on your agility skill, you get action points, which you can deploy in VATS. Time is slowed down, your damage resistance is increased, and you can aim and fire. The lighter the weapon, the more you can fire it, to put it in short. You can target multiple targets, and there are perks that will increase damage if you stack targets like that. Early game, it's a fantastic way of conserving ammo, which is very important. In survival mode, when you're low levels, any creature that gets near you and gives you a good whack is likely to cripple you and may well kill you. Healing items work over time, so you have to manage that a little bit more carefully. Eventually, near the entrance, we find ourselves a Pip-Boy, which is going to be basically our interface menu for the game. We can also play holotapes in it, such as the one we grabbed actually from that terminal where we were stealing beer bottles. There's like an 8-bit computer game you can play, but it's got all about inventory, maps, quests, everything is logged here. There's also some radio stations we can't pick up because we're down here underground. A couple of them I can't play in the videos because of copyright claims on the music that's on them, but a couple of them are used as gameplay mechanics. So we plug in, bash the big red button, and we're on our way. We do get a brief opportunity before we actually leave the vault via this lift to respec our character, change our appearance. You can spend ages on the face of your character if you want to in this game. The character creation screen is quite good. And here we are. The sole survivor, the lone survivor, the wanderer to be. We are back home, but it looks very, very different now. So here we are at the start of our great adventure. Now, I've no idea if you guys have played this game a lot, if you know nothing about this game. I'm going to try and find a balance. Help me in the comments if you're going to view this playthrough, just to let me know where you think, you know, how do I cut the conversations? I've cut the beginning down quite a lot, as you've already seen. If you know how the beginning goes, I can keep you posted on the gist of what's going on. We'll watch some of the relevant conversations. Just let me know. But here we are. We're pottering around. Everyone here is dead. There's some loot boxes around. Those yellow crates are normally explosives. Usually medicinal supplies in the med boxes. There's a little bit of intuitive stuff going on with where the loot is found. So we'll gather up everything we can. And at this stage of the game, I recommend you just pick up everything you can. In survival mode, carry capacity is going to be an issue. It is greatly reduced from the other modes of the game. The punishment for being over encumbered is damage as well as slow movement. So it's something we need to keep an eye on, but for now we'll grab it all. This will break down later. We'll look at crafting. It's a great element of the game and the way we can boost the power of our weapons and the protection of our armor, as well as medicines, drugs, all kinds of good stuff. So we'll look at that as and when. So we do have one environmental mod installed here. There are various mods, but I'll talk about them as they're relevant. This is the Springtime in the Commonwealth mod. Makes it just a little bit greener than the base game. We found Codsworth.
I live and breathe. Oh, it's really you.
I'm going to leave this conversation just to roll,
Codsworth,
just so you see it.
You're still here. So, other people could still be alive too.
Well, of course I'm still here. Surely you don't think a little radiation could deter the pride of General Atomics International? But you seem the worse for wear. Best not let the hubby see you in that state, huh? Where is Sir, by the way?
They killed him.
Oh, Mum, these things you're saying, these terrible things, I believe you need a distraction. Yes, a distraction to calm this dire mood. It's been ages since we've had a proper family activity. Checkers, or perhaps charades. Oh, Sean does so love that game. Is the lad with you?
Sean's been kidnapped. I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna get my baby back.
It's worse than I thought. You're suffering from hunger-induced paranoia. Not eating properly for 200 years will do that, I'm afraid.
Doesn't matter how long it's been. I feel fine.
A bit over 210, actually, Mum. Give or take a little for the Earth's rotation and some minor dings to the old chronometer. That means you're 2 centuries late for dinner. Perhaps I can whip you up a snack. You must be famished.
This is our first persuasion
Codsworth,
test,
you're acting a little weird. What's wrong?
which we've passed.
Mum,
That's based on our charisma skill.
it's been just horrible. 2 centuries with no one to talk to, no one to serve. I spent the first 10 years trying to keep the floors waxed, but nothing gets out nuclear fallout from vinyl wood. Nothing. And don't get me started about the futility of dusting a collapsed house. And the car. How do you polish rust?
I know that feeling.
Whoa. Focus, Codsworth.
I'm afraid I don't know anything, Mum. The bombs came and all of you left in such a hurry. I thought for certain you and your family were dead. I did find this holotape. I believe Sir was going to present it to you as a surprise. But then, well, everything happened.
Thank you, Codsworth.
You're welcome. Now, enough feeling sorry for myself. Shall we search the neighborhood together? Sir and young Sean may turn up yet.
All right. Lead the way.
Proud to serve, Mum.
So we were down there for over 200 years. So we're going to go and clean out this area, just check it for hostile bugs, I think is all we're going to find around here. We passed the charisma skill check there, got some XP. That's based on your charisma skill. You get a percentage chance to pass. Some are orange, some are red. That one was yellow, the easiest type. So let's kill some bloat flies. We've leveled up already after killing just one little bloat fly. And we're one-shotting these things quite nicely. And grabbing their bits. The bloatfly gland is something to keep on you. We'll talk about that later. It's something you can get a bit of money for early in the game if you've got one. I'm not going to spoil the story in any way, but at the same time I have a lot of experience of this game, so in terms of survival mode, what I'm going to show you is hopefully a really useful way of starting the game to ensure we've got some good guns, some good ammo, we can keep ourselves fed and watered and have enough caps to buy some good gear sooner rather than later. More bloatflies to clear out. That's going to take care of it. We've got quite a lot of ammo for the 10mm, it looks like, but we will burn through it. A lot of the creatures and monsters, etc. in this game will really dart about, particularly the ones that want to get in and do a melee hit on you. You can really expend a lot of ammo. Just checking what was in that one. Right, let's have a look in here. Out the way, Codsworth. Companions can get in the way. It's a feature of this game.
Thanks for trying, Codsworth.
You can't give up, Mum. What about the city? Concord is nearby, and, well, the people there have only shot at me a few times.
Thanks for your help, Codsworth.
Good luck, Mum. You'll find young Sean. I know you will. I shall remain here and secure
Right.
the home.
Now, please excuse me, Codsworth. You've got nothing left to say. He's told us we need to go down to Concord. Get some information down there. You can see there's been some kind of barricade last stand in here. There's no corpses, so maybe they held their own here and moved on somewhere else. Now we're going to, again, skip ahead a little bit. Normally the game teaches you how to do what I'm about to start doing after you've completed a mission or two. We're going to go into crafting mode straight away. You can do this before you've even spoken to old Codsworth there. This is the settlement building mode. Again, I'll go into details as and when. I don't want to have long, lengthy episodes where it's mostly tutorializing. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this. It is, of course, astounding that any person, let alone a lady with a law degree, knows how to get a building in her pocket. Actually, anything we're scrapping in this mode that's highlighted yellow, it will instantly just be scrapped down and sent into our kind of workbench. If it's green, we have the option of scrapping it or storing it. And that's going to depend on whether it's a beer bottle which we want to then fill with water or something we just want the parts out of. And we're going to run around, do a little bit of this now. As you're looting like that, anything that you do is like a container that has stuff within it. Anything that was in it will go straight into your storage locker as well. So you're not going to lose any loot by just scrapping a box that happens to have a stim pack and a hat in it. So a little bit of time doing this just to get some resources to keep us going, because we're in survival mode. The one thing you will not find up here in Concord is a bed, and we cannot save the game unless we have a bed to sleep on. So we certainly at least need to make ourselves a bed before we progress the game any further. They're beer bottles, we will store those, thank you very much. So we're going to build ourselves a water supply, a bed, and then we can start our great adventure. But it's up to you how much time you put into this. The settlement building side, you can happily spend hours messing with settlements. It's kind of nice to do it. And never leave, never go and play a mission, never fight anything. If that kind of thing tickles your fancy, this game will let you do that. Anyway, we're down at the other end of Sanctuary, down by the bridge. I'm going to leave these cars because I kind of like them as a bit of a feature. Don't want the place to look too spick and span from too far away. Might attract unwanted attention. Hey, over here, for those of you that don't know, the green boundary layer is the edge of the settlement. We can build anywhere in that area. This is a big settlement. 2 frag grenades in that mailbox there. Always grab those. And then up in here is an interesting house. A little look in here. We find our first safe. Well, not the first safe necessarily, there are others in Sanctuary, but we're going to have a go. It's basically Skyrim You use one stick to move your bobby pin, the other stick to move the lock, and you just get used to it. It's not too hard, but I do fail. There you go. Never afraid to show myself failing. We've only got one bobby pin. A lot are in the workbench. There are more available. We'll come back and do that as and when. We can't scrap that safe. The other safes you find around here, you can just scrap them, save you unlocking them, but you do get XP if you do. Here is the hacking. It's a word game. You choose a word, it will tell you how many letters are correct and in the right place, and then you have to figure out the word to unlock it. I won't talk you through these. If you can find a cluster of brackets that match up, it will either remove a dud from the words that you can try, or it will reset the number of tries you've had, and if you fail, you'll get locked out for 10 seconds and then you can try again. And there are, with safes and terminals, there are 3 levels of them, and you use perks to level up. I have found with safes in the game, you don't get better loot from a more tightly locked safe. And the ones that are really more game influencing, you can usually access with lower skills. But we'll see how we get on. This terminal purely has some backstory, revealing that this house was occupied by a drug dealer. And here are some details of his contacts and deals right here. And true to form, around the back, apart from some tyres and some oil drums, which we'll scrap, we find a chemical station. We're going to scrap the fertilizer, scrap that box. You can pick up items that are green. Now the chemistry station we can't store in the workbench because we don't have the skills to make one. So you literally have to pick it up and put it down where you want it. So we'll centralise these kind of crafting facilities up around here, around the main workbench. Save us the mileage up and down the site, and we're going to run back down the front and grab that cooking station. And there we are, so we can cook. Right here we have the chemistry station for explosives and drugs. We have the armour bench and the weapons workbench, which are obviously self-explanatory. Here we have a power armour station. So we have a complete set of crafting stations which we can't build for quite a long time in the game. It does require some skills and some perks, but Sanctuary provides us with all. I'm just going to pick up a few of these loot items here rather than scrap them straight in the inventory. That's how you pick up stuff out in the world, outside the settlement. And here you literally just transfer it. You can do it all, or you can be selective. Now, straight from the off, there is some stuff I'm going to keep an eye out for. For now, I'm going to take all of the aid, the drugs, the food, anything that got transferred into here from me scrapping the containers they were in while I was running around the settlement, including the bobby pins. We'll go back to that safe and have another crack. The ammo, all of that, we're going to take that with us for now. Thank you very much. All we need to leave in here is the junk that we want to get scrapped down for crafting. All this stuff here. But we're going to have a little look through. What are we going to keep? We're going to keep any bottles that we find. We're looking for pre-war money, and we're looking for cartons of cigarettes primarily at this stage. We need to get on with some building. As I said, there are some basic things we need before we can progress any more. I'm just having a little fold through, just showing you there's so many categories here. We'll do a settlement building special, but in resources I found the basic water pump. Requires some concrete, some steel and a gear. Quite easy to find. I also now kind of know which loot items contain which components, which is quite handy. If you're short of something, I know to run to a trader and buy a hot plate or whatever. So from here we can pump water, which is us drinking it in effect, which will cure the fact we're a little bit dehydrated, as you can see by the marker that's just disappeared down in the bottom right of the screen. And we can also fill any bottles that we have here and make purified water, which we shall keep with us for hydration on the road and for healing. You also need to drink water after you take a stim pack, ideally, because it causes dehydration. Right, so back in the house by the workbench, we're just clearing a little bit of space by scrapping to build ourselves a bed. We'll get a nice tiny dinky one, simply so we can cram more in later. Maybe we'll have a luxury one. And if we choose, or Madeleine chooses, I should say, because she still has a big input into this playthrough in terms of decisions. I've obviously put a few extra beds out. I know they'll be needed quite soon, but we can finally take our first sleep. So the first time since we left the vault, we are saving the game. I'm just going to sleep overnight, just so it's light again. Playing in the dark isn't too much of a problem. at all. Maybe the footage doesn't come out too well, we'll see, but for now we'll skip night, and because we've had a nice good long sleep, we'll have the well rested perk when we awaken. And for 7 hours we'll get plus 10% XP, plus 2 agility, and plus 2 endurance. It's got foggy while we were snoozing overnight. We had the vivid weather mod fitted. It does make some real pea supers, some fantastic storms. I'm sure we'll see them all as we go along. But anyway, we leveled up when we were killing those bloat fires, and it's certainly time for us to go back into our old house. Over here we have a Grognak the Barbarian comic. That's going to give us an extra 5% on our critical hits with melee attacks permanently. You can also then sell the magazine. You still keep the perk, but the magazine's worth some money. We haven't cleaned out our house at all. What have we got? Clean tan suit. It's under here is what we want. It's a special book, and it will give us a 1 point to allot to one of our skills. So we're going to have a look at those before we select it. We've got our level up. Now I'm going to be a little bit brief about this for now. So we've got our 7 skills that make up our specials. Strength is basically how much we can carry and the damage we do with melee. Perception is accuracy in VATs, which is quite useful. Endurance is health points and how much action points you use when you're sprinting. Charisma, as we've seen, influences conversation skill checks and also will influence prices when you're trading. Intelligence, that's an XP that you get from any kind of XP generating event. Agility is the number of action points you get and how good you are at sneaking. And luck generally is how quickly the critical meter fills up when you're in VATs, which I haven't actually talked about, but we shall. And yeah, it boosts how quickly you can get a critical hit in VATs. Then down here we have the perks. Many perks. For now, we're going to look over here. We're going to go for Lone Wanderer. Increases our damage, well, basically reduces the damage we take by 15. And it increases our carry weight by 50. It is very, very handy indeed, especially in survival mode. I'd say it almost certainly wants to be the first one that you always take. It won't take long to get some more. And as we go along, we'll look at the perks in a little bit more detail. But let's get along. What I do want to look at is which one I want to allot the extra point to. I think it's going to be agility. Perception's at 4. We want to get it to 5 so we can get Demolition Expert, but I do know that's going to get a boost quite soon anyway. Charisma we will want to get to 6 so we can use this local leader perk here to connect settlements and have a little network going on, but that is a little bit later on, no rush for that one. Over here in the agility line, what we're heading for down here is Ninja at agility 7, and we're only at agility 5 now. We're going to just put agility up to 6, I think, when we get that special book. And there you go, agility skill boosted up to 6. Couple of toys to grab. There's one more thing we want to look at in Sanctuary that we want to do before we venture out, and that is behind the last house remaining over in this corner of Sanctuary. We will find some wild mut fruit or moot fruit. I don't know which pronunciation is correct, but they're quite a good source of food, and we'll find some more on the way out of Sanctuary. But we want to get into this root cellar. Now this loads in. It doesn't count as part of Sanctuary, so there's no crafting screen, but there's some handy stuff down here. Some food, some meds, more food. We're just going to grab absolutely everything. Pre-war money is great for trading with. You need to keep it protected so that you don't scrap it into cloth. Gwyneth Stout gives us a strength bonus and a charisma bonus. Is a good one to have a little tipple of before you start trading. And then we get to the interesting stuff. We have got 3 bars of gold, and they are going to give us a nice little head start financially, which we are going to make the most of as we grab everything removable in here. Unfortunately the safe is advanced locked. We haven't got the skills to unlock that now. You could come back when you can if you'd like to and find a little spin around just to check we've got everything. There's a shovel, you never know. Couple of tin cans. They're only 1 steel each. They're not vital. Aluminium cans, I would say always grab anything with aluminium in it when you're out and about. Aluminium and adhesive are very, very vital things to have. Toolboxes are usually contain a roll of duct tape or a bottle of Wonder Glue. So always go for those red toolboxes. And that's it. The root cellar's cleared. We're now just going to pop back to the workbench and deposit the junk. In fact, we'll store all junk and then we'll just go through very quickly and take out what we want to keep, which is going to be anything that is a bottle. So we can use those to make purified water. Cigarette cartons because they're good trade value. Comfy pillow, because why not? Madeleine likes comfy pillows. We'll keep that for our bed maybe. A couple of empty milk bottles. Gold bars we're going to keep so they don't get scrapped. The last thing you want to do is to build something requiring gold and your gold bars just get turned to not worthless stuff, but not as good a value as that. Right, I think that's all we want. We want the pre-mall money so that doesn't get scrapped for cloth. Preserved cigarette packet because that's worth a little bit of money. And I think that is all we need from there. Right, and then we're going to go over here to this toolbox, which we are going to temporarily use to store stuff we don't really need on us. We don't need a pipe pistol. We don't need to carry 4 10mm pistols, and we don't need 2 security batons. Clothing wise, let's see what we've got. That's going to be +2 charisma, handy if we meet a trader. That's also +2 charisma, but weighs more. Eyeglasses +1 perception, handy for the VAT's accuracy. We've already found some military fatigues, which are +2 agility and a bit of damage resistance, so we're going to wear those. Red Rocket t-shirt, also +2 charisma, and I think I like that one. Red dress, another +2 charisma. We've got all the charisma. And 2 t-shirts. The t-shirts all come from the Creation Club, which is Bethesda's own kind of mods shop. But they were one of the packs that you didn't have to pay for. And we've got the 2 jumpsuits. The lab coat is going to give us +2 to our intelligence. So that's going to boost the XP we receive. Maybe if we're up here crafting, doing some building, we might want to pop that up for a little bit of boost. The wedding rings are probably going to get sold. Sorry, sentimentalist. So we're going to put the lab coat away. We're going to put the jumpsuit away. I think this is all we need to keep with us for now. Nothing else of any great note. We don't need to carry on these shotgun shells. We have no shotgun. So we've had a good clean out. We'll now get dressed because it's raining, I've just noticed. So we'll put on the military fatigues and the eyeglasses. Oh yes, there we are. Look at that. We're ready for action. The weather is atrocious. We need an umbrella, really. Right, I think we're going to call it an episode there. The next episode of this will be up very soon. For those of you that follow the Eve videos, there are more to come, I assure you. We've had a very hectic few weeks here in various ways at Dadex HQ. But now, we're going to be back very soon, from this very point in time, in fact, to venture over that bridge and get to grips with the wasteland. So for now, thank you very much for watching. Please, the comments, the feedback, you know that's what I live for. Take care. From me, from Madeleine, from Codsworth, wherever he's gone hiding out the rain. Goodbye.